I know that you've all been prepared for this, but I thought I'd just remind you just the same.
Can you handle that, Blondie?
Game over, man. Game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Touch pure evil.
I want to buy some radio ad time.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Vincent Green.
And I'm your host, Noel John Toohey.
We got Karen Mack in the back.
As always.
This is Invasion of the Potty Snatchers. Let's get to it, motherfuckers. Alright, so Noel, we're coming back. We're a little bit late on this motherfucking thing, but we were busy, so we're just catching up. Like we're trying to, and we're going to try to do that over the next couple of episodes of Potty Snatchers. And we're going to start with no better place to start than in South Korea with the fucking phenom, the phenomenon, the fucking crazy fucking juggernaut that's fucking came rolling out of Far East Asia, and that is Squid Game. Noel, what was your expectations of this? Obviously I had none, but like, did you have any expectations? What did you think of Squid Game?
When I wasn't late to the Squid Game party. By late, we probably like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't jump on it like, just straight away, and everyone's like, you have to watch it. And there was just images of it all over Netflix because I knew
Eating animal crackers.
And it was just people in very colourful uniforms walking down very colourful staircases. And I just thought it was going to be like, I remember, like, I know these are Japanese films, I'm not trying to compare, but just like I remember Visitor Q and some of these absolute
Sounds like you're trying to compare.
Sounds like I'm trying to compare, but I remember these absolutely insane films that just come out of Asia that they're just absolutely excellent at doing. So I thought it was going to be strange, and I thought I'd have to be in the right mood. As soon as I watched one episode, I was like, yeah, this is a 2-day thing. I'm going to watch it tonight. I'm going to get up tomorrow, go to work, I'm going to come home, and I'm going to finish it. And I think that's exactly what I did.
I think when I watched my first initial exposure to Squid Game was, I was scrolling through Netflix. I seen it on my feed. It recommended because like nearly 90% of horror stuff
it was number one in Ireland, and it was number one in the world.
Yeah,
you know, it was no escaping it if you were just flicking through Netflix, you know.
But the thing is, it was just recommended to me right after it came out, and when I initially saw it, I thought it was actually a reality TV show. So I didn't look into it. I thought, what's this, like a Takeshi's Castle, like a Ninja Warrior? That's what I thought it was.
You'd be forgiven for how colourful and shit it looked like.
Exactly, yeah. So like when I seen the clip from it, I was like, is this a fucking show? Is this a movie? What the fuck is this? And I kind of forgot about it. And then, you know, just being online constantly on our fucking Facebook page, you know, MDK Productions 2020, no biggie, whatever, check us out.
Year old. And, you know, we do what we do.
We do what we do. We're just doing it. But so like, I just thought initially that it was reality TV. Me and my Mrs. Lorraine, we were like, what the fuck is this? And it kept popping up online, and I was like, okay, I need to scope this out. This is actually a TV series. And I made sure I didn't find out anything about it. I just kept seeing
references. I went in fairly blind as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So the only thing I knew about was red light, green light, and I had no context. I just seen the image of the statue.
The doll.
Yeah, the doll.
Yeah,
and I heard,
doll,
yeah. So I was like, okay, what the fuck is this? And so I said to my Mrs. Lorraine, because I think it was right after we just finished Oktoberfest, because I got to it a few weeks late, like, and right after we finished Oktoberfest, we were doing like another challenge on Facebook, 61 Days of Horror. So we like got to it pretty late, like 4 or 5 weeks maybe after it came out, or 3 or 4 weeks after it came out. And we were like, okay, we need to just fucking scope this out and see what it's all about. And we watched the first 2 or 3 episodes the first night, and we were just like, okay, yeah, it's like you. We're like, fuck, this is amazing. We're hooked. And I was like, this is so original. And that's why I don't get...
Green light blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like, you knew that was an event that you were going to be talking about for a while. I even said, like, I don't think... Well, you remember at the start of that red light, green light, I think is a good place to delve into the show for a second. There was that first guy who goes, I bet you I can get further than you, and he pushes the other guy and he keeps running, and then he's running so fast that he can't stop on a dime. You know, he stops and he's kind of like using his arms to regain his balance, and then boom, gunshot to the head.
Yeah.
And then you realise that this is a fatal game. That was the first. Everyone just thought they were playing a game for money.
Yeah.
And you were going to be eliminated and go back home, and like, sucks to be you, and that's all it was.
Yeah.
Takeshi's Castle. It was Takeshi's Castle.
Yeah, exactly.
In everyone's head, you know. But then that first guy got taken down, and I was like, wow, they're going to kill like 20 or 30. Of the 456 contestants, I didn't think they're going to get rid of 60% of them.
Over 200 and something, 70 people died or something in red light, green light.
One event, it was absolute massacre.
Here's the stakes.
Massacre.
It's pretty much here's the stakes. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and I was just, oh my god, I just said to her, because again, this was one of these shows where, you know, you like to guess what's going on, especially if you're sitting there with your other half. You've got theories, and I was just like, yeah, but you know what's not going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, it was just a sequence of me being wrong about everything.
The best thing I thought about Squid Game was every time you seen a new game, you're constantly asking questions of yourself. How would I fare in red light, green light? How would I fare in this? How would I do in this? Like the bridge game, I'm like, okay, I'm 100% going to die. Like literally when I came to the bridge game, I'm like, I'm probably going to die. I'm really bad at making 50-50 calls. You know what I mean? And you have to do that nearly all the way across.
I think your psychopathy would see you fairly far.
Well, if there's a few people in front of me, they're dying first, of course.
Yeah,
like, you know
again, like there is, but you're right about the mindfucky one. Do you remember where the bridge game?
Yeah.
And they had to pick their number of their best. So I know we have 456, we have 218, and we have 69, and they're the 67. They're the three people we're kind of looking through the eyes of. Yeah. But you had to take a vest, and you didn't know whether a high number vest would be best or a low number. Like what's one what? Like 1 in what? 17 in what? And there was just like God, because our main guy 456.
Yes,
he goes to the first vest.
Seung Ji Hyun. Sorry if I butchered your name.
Yeah, apologies. There'll be a bit of that.
Played by Lee Hyung Jae.
Lee Hyung Jae, yeah. But he goes to pick number 1, and the guy comes up behind him and gives him the whole spiel about how he's always been a coward.
Yeah.
And just this one time, and then you go out and you realise what it is a 50-50 on top of the 50-50. I don't know, maybe 14 of them in a row, something like that. And there's glass that will hold the weight of an elephant probably, and then there's glass that won't hold the weight of of the smallest of a child or anything.
One is tempered glass, I think, you know.
Yeah, one is tempered glass, that's right. And then you realise that fucking hell, the guy who picked 1 is fucked.
Yeah.
There's even the guy who was running the calculations.
Yeah,
he was saying that there's such and such a chance of getting through this, and if I do this, there's such and such a chance, and he was just playing the odds. And then he's on the bridge, and he realizes that there's like 10 steps to go, and the chances of getting 10 flips it's a flip of a coin. Yeah, the chances of you getting 10 in a row is astronomical.
It's the kind of thing in a game.
And then he just goes for it.
Yeah. Oh, he goes really fast.
He goes really fast. He just goes for it. I just thought God, man, it was such a good fucking show.
I think like the thing with the bridge, because like that scared me the most, because that's the kind of mission in Crash Bandicoot or something where you die like 8 or 9 times before you work out the formula.
9 times.
Exactly.
I played Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, it's like Road to Nowhere or something.
Died in.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of the case of like, if the only way you're going to survive is if you are happy to have a later number is your best chance of surviving. Because if you're one of the first people, like as you said, it's 50-50 literally every time you have to make a decision. Every single time for 14 times, and you work out that your chances of getting it right every single time are infinitesimal or whatever. Like,
the guy was a statistician or an insurance man or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He was a guy whose life was based around playing the numbers. Like, you know, maybe a gambler.
Given into a positive Asian stereotype nonetheless, but whatever. Like,
actually you're right.
But no, like I just thought it was very innovative, like stuff like the bridge we talked about, red light, green light, and then the really heartbreaking one was you had to pick someone to play marbles against. Do you remember that episode where everybody was picking kind of like who they thought would be the strongest because you had to team up?
I almost rage quit. That was hard to watch.
Poor Ali.
There was the guy playing against number 1, the old man, and then there was Ali.
Yeah.
And Ali, oh my God, just the evil.
Ali Abdul, and he played against Chu Sang-mo.
Yeah.
And the old man was On Il Nam. Nailing Korean.
Number 1 I'll have to do, because unfortunately I don't want to butcher their names. But that was when it was just dark. Everything about that was endgame kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like it was just like,
pick a different movie to reference, motherfucker.
No, it was endgame as in the concept of it being an endgame. They don't own that word. That word's been around. I'm pretty sure
they do. We're in the endgame now.
Do. When you make $1 billion off a word, I guess you kind of own it.
2 billion.
2 billion. Yeah, well, then I guess you do own it. But it was the endgame. It was just, and I liked that game, and I liked the game where they had to get the umbrella, the star or the circle out of a. I don't know, a honeycomb.
Was it 5 games altogether? 5 days, or was it 4 games?
I'm going to take a stab at it here. There was the red light, green, in no particular order. There was the red light, green light. There was the marbles. There was the bridge. There was the.
It took a war.
Tug of War, and there was the Squid Game.
So 5.
Unless we're forgetting one.
Wait, what was the Squid Game? Oh,
At
that was at the end.
where
Yeah,
it was,
the 2 boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was. The first one was red light, green light.
100%. That's when literally everyone didn't
Yeah.
even know that they were playing for their lives. They weren't aware of it. At that
Second
particular
one
moment.
was the honeycomb game.
That's definitely right as well. Yeah.
Third one was tug of war. Fourth
Yes.
one was the bridge, and the fifth one was Squid Game.
What about the marbles? Where was that?
Oh shit, yeah. So it was they're the 5 games you had.
I think the marbles was before the bridge.
Yeah, because Ali was dead before the bridge. So
Yeah, and the old man wasn't on that one. He definitely wasn't in that scene.
yeah, so it was red light, green light, honeycomb, tug of war, marbles, bridge, and then Squid Game was a different game altogether. So it wasn't.
And Squid Game was that and again, it was so well layered because like the first game is so complex. They had a motion sensor robot and snipers.
Yeah.
Taking people out en masse in this huge room. It was so massive in its scale. And then at the end you had a honeycomb game, and for some reason it was just as impactful.
So
Didn't matter.
tense.
It's so tense.
Yeah.
Like the first one wasn't as like the red light green light was intense in a different sense, but it wasn't as intense overall as the bloody honeycomb thing.
Yeah.
Just trying to
and you're, like,
and again
looking
it
at
showed
and
it was the
stuff.
first time we seen that Sang-woo was a bit of a cunt, because I think he had figured out what it was, and he said, oh, we're just going to pick random shapes. I'll go off the top of my head, I guess, circle. And then of course he's one of his oldest and dearest friends goes, oh, I might go umbrella, and he goes, yeah, you know, okay. So you realize
Sounds
that
good.
he was, sounds good. You're
might rain.
Might rain, yeah.
But I just thought, like something that you mentioned there was you have a red light, green light, which is pure adrenaline intensity, and it should be, because it's just a mass killing. It's a pure killing field. It's like what used to happen in Burma and places, or Cambodia. It's like let people run, and we're just going to open fire. It's
like against a Barney backdrop, and that just makes it worse. But you know, it was so well lit and colourful, and it looked like a playground,
and it almost did as much harm to people as Barney did, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you have that intensity, but it's kind of like, as you said, it's massive in scale, and then you have the intensity that they still manage to keep with something so simplistic as, can you take this shape out of a square,
out of a honeycomb?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
but even you just seen like some guy who was doing the umbrella, because there was I think it was circle star umbrella. Was that it?
Yeah,
square maybe. I don't know.
No, triangle was probably one of them, because on their mask. What's on the mask?
Yeah, everything. There was
square, circle, triangle, umbrella. Was it? No.
Yeah, no. The masks didn't have that. The mask just had square, X, and O, I think.
Oh, was it? Yeah. No. What did so it was like umbrella, star,
umbrella
triangle,
was the most
circle,
complex shape. I remember that much. But I remember like there's just one guy, and he's going down the handle of what would be the handle of the umbrella, and it just breaks. And it's just a little bit of honeycomb that breaks. It's the most inconsequential thing in the world, and he just gets a bullet in the brain.
Yeah, man. Like.
But imagine making something so simple. Like, I mean, imagine just writing that, and you're thinking, "Oh, this is stupid. This is just so. This is too silly." Like, you know, people getting shot to death over, because what's 50 people die in that round, 60 people. Like, it's pretty bad. Like,
yeah.
And even like they stopped showing all the killings. They would just show somebody just trying to get their shape out, and you would just hear bangs in the background.
Yeah,
and it's crazy intense.
Yeah, no, that's the best thing about it though, because like nearly the more simplistic the games became, the more intense they became. Because you grew accustomed to the high stakes nature of the narrative and of the rules of the Squid Game itself, that like you knew even the most simplistic game obviously had this weird hidden agenda to it, that it's like oh, do I pick number 1, do I pick 16, should I be first, should I be last, and you get to the point of the bridge because of what occurred with the marbles, what occurred with the tug of war, what occurred with the honeycomb, what occurred with red light, green light, that by the time you get to like the marbles, you're like, oh shit, like, you know, do I pick? Do I pick, like, you know what I mean? Do I pick a person that's super strong with me? And then you get to the bridge, you're like, what occurred with the marbles? Like, oh, I picked everything that seemed the sensible thing to do. I teamed up the strongest person, and then I end up having to kill that person or causing their death by beating them through a game. And then, like, when you get to the bridge, you're totally doubting yourself, and even you as an audience member are completely doubting the characters' decisions themselves. Like, as you said, every time I made a guess, I was wrong. I think the only thing I got right was the brother that ran the thing. We figured that out pretty quickly. I was like, oh, that's probably your man's brother. You know what I mean? Like, but apart from that, like, everything was so hard to call.
Too. That one of the few things I got right.
You figure, like, why else would he be going there? Like, his narrative structure would make no sense
Need
if
a
he
real
went.
sad, like, what, you all along? Like, yeah, it needed to have that moment. Well, again, the reason the marble thing was so, but that was when they knew that the person that they're up against, who they like, is who they're taking on.
Yeah.
The teamwork aspect fell apart then.
Yeah.
That's when making everybody have to work for themselves.
Did you have that feeling when they said, like, pretty much they teamed off, they paired off, and then when Ian Nam was left by himself, and it was Seong Ji Hyun that had to team up with him, or decided to team up with himself, another guy, and you're like, oh, a hero moment, he came to that guy, old dude's rescue, and you're like, oh, now you have to play against each other. And I can remember that moment.
Played on his dementia.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, it just shows when people are desperate what to do, that will survive. But
it's not ugly. Sorry, it's not pretty, and it is ugly. It's because at the same time you're sitting there, especially a sympathetic character.
Yeah.
A sympathetic character doing something that's kind of unconscionable, but what is it that he had?
Yeah.
He could die on his morals and no one would care.
Did you have that feeling of, like, when he said now you have to play against each other, like, oh shit, we're going to lose like 50% of the characters here, you know what I mean?
It was set up that you lose exactly, like the red light, green light was just whatever happens, but this was set up exactly 50% of people were going to die. The cruelty of that.
Most of them, you knew it was like a husband versus a wife. It was Ali like, I can't believe the husband. I can't believe the husband actually beat the wife, because I turned around to Lorraine's show. I was like, I'd let you in.
Yeah. Again, maybe she let him. I don't know. Like, I would just say to Sheila, like, you know, I would definitely let her win, because I'm a very good person.
Yeah, no trounces her. Bitch, take her out.
She's after dropping me in a beer. She's in earshot. So anyway, I'd steal all her marbles, punch her, tell her, call her a liar.
Yeah, the unedited version. This is for the Patreon account only. Did not Sheila cut.
But that was dark. Yeah. Like, but at this stage, I think the genius of Squid Game was how every type of tension and every type of self-doubt he managed to squeeze into it by the time the series was over. And it honestly, because you watch something and kind of go like, oh yeah, I like the good guys. There's Superman, the penultimate good guy in every way, won't kill, blah blah blah, and then there's the bad guys and it's just black and white. But this one, you do find yourself going, oh god, maybe I'm not as good a person as I think I am. Yeah, because you do place yourself in every single one of those. Yeah,
I would have been taking out motherfuckers. Like, as soon as I realised the stakes of that game, I'm like, alright, I'm going to make allegiances that gets me to the last game, and then it's 50-50. And that's literally the nature of the situation you're in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like, literally,
it was winners take all. You had all things been even, and all things were certainly not even.
First of all, the husband that brought his wife is a fucking idiot. He should have gone alone. Because, like, what are you doing? You're not increasing your chances of winning, dude. You're increasing your chances of fucking losing both parents. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, literally, it's like, shady game. Hey, honey, do you want to come along for the journey? I'd be like, hey, Lorraine, I know we're fairly desperate right now. Shady game coming up. You stay here.
Yeah,
I'm going to go scope it out.
The shady game.
Yeah, you know, let me scope it out and see what happens. If I don't return,
it's like the Homer Simpson
thing. Pretty sure I died in the shady game. You know?
Remember Homer Simpson? Please, I have a wife and kids. Eat them. It's simple as that, you know.
But I just think, like, in an era right now, we spoke recently about remakes and reboots and this fucking remaster shit that's really infecting the computer game industry, that at the moment now, when there's such a lack of creativity and a lack of originality, and
it finally caught up with games. Games were the last bastion of true absolute inspiration, and the game industry was bigger than the film industry, and you had to give credit to it. And now Halo 2, you know? Yeah,
16 times. GTA, fucking hell. It's like GTA, every time I see a new console come out, I picture GTA as like Leonardo DiCaprio and Wolf of Wall Street. It's like, I'm not fucking going anywhere! I'm not going anywhere! I'm not leaving! And that's GTA and Skyrim. GTA 5 and Skyrim, every time a new console, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, like, I
bought my niece, my goddaughter, I bought her Skyrim 3 times. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know what the concept of it, but I was just like, what do you want? Do you want something for your birthday that you can just tell me, or would you like me to? She goes, you just got me Skyrim, and that has happened 3 times.
Yeah, I want Skyrim with ray tracing. What about the story? Oh no, it's the exact same story.
I know. I got her for it once, and it was in like a metal case as opposed to the plastic one.
Well,
so
I can understand that. Well, that's
Yeah,
collector's
yeah.
edition.
That's
I've done that.
edition. Oh,
I've done that.
I've embarrassed myself. Carol, could you edit that out?
Yeah, I don't think you should, Carl. The world should know.
You won't learn nothing.
Yeah, but like I just think like in an era right now where we're having a real fucking bereft of creativity and originality to see something this unique come out, and I just think right now South Korea in particular, and I know J-horror in Japan has had a long lineage of martial arts movies, kung fu movies come from China as well, and then like, you know, I have J-horror in particular from Japan, but right now when you have the likes of Train to Busan, Squid Game, Hashtag Alive, you have these, even Peninsula, even though it wasn't as good. I just think South Korea at the moment...
It's having a moment.
Having more than a moment. I think it's right now, it's some of the best and most high quality entertainment's coming out of there. Out of that peninsula right now, South Korea is like some of the, like, there's a reason Squid Game, a foreign language show, is the biggest show in the world at the moment.
96 countries or something at its peak.
It's the reason that is because of the quality of it. It's nothing to do, like, people are starting to understand now that we're going to have to branch out in terms of our the language barrier. Something that I spoke about with Stephen Byrne in our MDK Presents episode was that, like, I think people now, when they're starting to understand, is we're having such a low point at times with the English speaking content that's coming out now, that we're being a bit more open minded to foreign language content, foreign language movies, and to see the success of Squid Game. And I think people are going on Train to Busan. That, like, I just think like us in horror, we didn't give a fuck if there's Japanese or French or whatever. People from horror, we don't care what language is being spoken as long as the scares are good. And then that led us into interest into other films that came from these regions, and we were lucky that way. And people, though, that didn't like horror, are only starting to kind of get more and more into these foreign language movies and starting to understand there's a fucking ocean of world class movies there that they might not have seen already or whatever.
You were spoiled. The thing is, you were spoiled. I lived foreign when I was young, and I lived in Austria. And I remember speaking to one guy who he could speak German, but I think he was born in Croatia. Yeah. And I asked him, he could speak really good English. He was only a teenager at the time, and so was I. And I said, "How come your English is so good?" And he said, well, "Yeah, we don't dub movies." Yeah. He goes, "We have subtitles." And he goes, "And slowly and surely, over a long period of time, and you know, like, he's hearing all this music, like, whether it's like whatever, it's Britney Spears, it doesn't matter, it's in English. There was no escaping it. We are spoiled, and for a long time we didn't watch these films because we are so spoiled, and that's why English speaking people are so bad at languages, I believe, because when we're immersed in English, we never hear anything else. And now Squid Game coming through and saying fuck all that is really impressive. Because it is a bit of a handicap because the English market is such a huge one. The Western market. Squid Game just said fuck all that. And when I was watching Squid Game, don't get me wrong, I'm sure he's seen Takeshi's Castle, I'm sure he's thought about these kid games and inverted, like, it's based on something. This idea came to him based on his life's experience.
It got rejected like an ungodly amount of times before he got admitted. Like 10 years or something.
A decade on a laptop that he sold at one point. Imagine you had the laptop. I mean, that'll be if you have that laptop, it would belong in a museum now. That's how big Squid Game got. But but it didn't look like he was trying to be anything in particular. Yeah, it's completely unique and new story. That's why you're always accusing me of going back to the same films, rightfully so. But that's why I loved The First Final Destination. It's why I loved The Matrix. Always these films, you just kind of went that. Somebody look, I have an idea. Yeah. And they made something fucking new. And now you can say it's bled into the film industry. Now there was actually something fucking new. Yeah. That is so refreshing. Yeah, I just think, like, when I haven't caught The Kingdom yet, which I think is another show that came out of South Korea. It's about like zombies or something like that. I haven't seen it. It's supposed to be really, really good. This is a show, sorry, not a movie. Yeah, no, I think it's literally got a season 2 and maybe a spin-off on Netflix. There's like a good bit of it there on Netflix. I'm definitely going to scope out soon. You know why I'm scoping it out. He knows I'm planning something. But I just think that, like, when you look at fucking Halloween H40, Halloween Kills, and you see all this fucking shit, like, we're getting another Texas Chainsaw Massacre, what we talked about last week in Talking Points. We're getting another one in February. We're probably going to get another Friday 13 soon. We have another Chucky. I don't know, I said it so weird, but we got another Chucky. We got another Chucky. I'm Ron Burgundy. Stay classy, San Diego. But no, we got more Chucky content now. We just had a Child's Play reboot only a couple of years ago.
I just think that people are just like, yeah, it's cool. The nostalgic kick is really, really cool. I love seeing Chucky again. I love seeing Jason Voorhees again.
Parents watching, like, you know, you've got a 17, 18-year-old daughter, let's say, and you say, look, I grew up on this.
Yeah.
You want to watch it together, and you know, and I get that.
Yeah.
I do actually get that.
But
I'm just, is there not enough of it?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
has anybody got an idea?
Yeah, a new idea. The guy
And Squid Game was a new idea. You could come to me and say you hate Squid Game. I don't feel so strongly about it that I would be like, you know, j'accuse. You know, I wouldn't be like.
I'd be like,
it's
you're
fine.
an idiot.
People
It's
are
so
allowed
good.
to have their taste. People are allowed to be wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same, if you came to me and said that it was a completely unoriginal idea, then I'd fight you.
Yeah.
Because that's just simply not true.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's literally nowadays it's so hard to actually find something you can say that is completely original. And like, I've never seen anything. As you said, Squid Game wasn't trying to be anything else. It was just it was just his own thing. Like, and
wasn't trying to tap into the kind of, we were having a lot of, again, we were talking about it off when we weren't recording, a lot of apocalypse movies at the minute, and we like I was talking to Sheila, my partner, earlier about remember the vampire craze at the early 90s. People were just like, let's make a vampire thing, let's just tap into it, and that's how it happens. Now everything's remastered. Well, that's where the money is, let's tap into it. Gaming industry has followed, but this guy just kind of said, I have this, you want to make it? And he made it, and it's new. And I love the fact that it wasn't trying to tap into a market and then blew the market the roof off.
Create its own market.
Create its own, and now we're going to get now they're going to remake Battle Royale or something, because now maybe that this kind of survival game, like, don't get me wrong, Squid Game did not invent survival games by any stretch of measure.
Oh, of course.
It just has a new angle and a new concept of it.
Like, we have Battle Royale and the clear rip-off, which is Hunger Games.
Oh yeah, I've never watched Hunger Games because I've seen Battle Royale, and
Hunger Games is fun. Like, it's fun. It's fun. It's harmless.
Does it ever have that poignance that Squid Game just leaked all the time? The husband with the dead wife, the bully. We didn't touch upon him. I don't know what number he was, but he was the guy that ran with the gangs, and he went in there and he died in the bridge game. You remember him?
Yeah, your one jumped on him.
Yuan put her arms around him and just fucking took a dive.
Is it Jang Juk So? Because I think he looks.
Sounds like
I'm going to check though, because he looks really different in real life. Yeah, this is him. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, he's way more handsome in real life.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Isn't it funny? It's like
his real name is Hyung Sung
Thrones.
Tae. Oh yeah, the Hound. Yeah.
Strapping man, like, you know. But he fucking, like, that bullying, that psychopathy, that questioning your own morals, that darkness that Squid Game just cast over and over and over again. Did Hunger Games ever have that?
No, it's too glossy. Like, a lot of that's the problem with, like, a lot of Western movies nowadays. It's like they want to hit that mainstream appeal, so they have to go.
Yeah, they want kids to be able to go, and they can't have it be so dark that some 4-year-old hits the media because they're traumatized and need to go to see a psychologist.
Yeah, and if you look at Hunger Games now, I've never read the book. I know it is marketed to the YA market, the YA section, like a Twilight or whatever.
Obviously, I know what the YA market is. But, like, tell our listeners who probably don't know. Like,
young adult. So young adult is the YA market now. So that'd be like Vampire Diaries, Twilight, and Hunger Games. And I know it is marketed to that. But if you look at Hunger Games in its essence, it's quite a dark story. That every now and again people are being taken from these prefectures and they're made to fight to the death against each other for food, pretty much. Like, you know what I mean, and resources,
and for entertainment.
Yeah, and entertainment. Exactly. Yeah. So, like, I its essence, it is a very dark story, and I think you could have gone very dark with it if you're on a streaming platform. But you have to stay true to the source material, which I haven't read. I understand it's for the YA market. So number one, you have to stay true to source material. So that's a tone that you're going to have to carry over. Otherwise, you're going to lose the pre-existing audience.
Yeah.
But if you go to a streaming service, you have a bit more leeway. You look at how dark like a Witcher is, how dark in particular Squid Game. Yeah. Squid Game can hold a tone similar to Battle Royale, because Battle Royale was never really for the mainstream people. It was a J horror, and it was very hard hitting. It was very brutal, and it's for that kind of. Yeah, it's for that niche that people have sought that kind of movie out. And that's why it became successful, because there was a market there for it. Where Squid Game, because it's on a streaming service, it has that mass appeal or that mass availability because it's already in everyone's homes. Netflix. You don't have to coax people out to a cinema to see it like you would with Hunger Games. So, like, especially now, like, if Hunger Games is made in a pandemic, or like imagine Squid Games like in the cinema now would have flopped because nobody would have gone and seen it. But because it's on a Netflix, Number one, you can have a bit more reign with Netflix because if it's no good, it just gets lost amongst the herd. But if it is good, it has
swallowed by the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if it is good, it becomes a juggernaut because 200 million people already have Netflix, or 300 million people already have Netflix. So when you have
which means 600 million people have Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because if you're sharing accounts and stuff like that. But I just think Hunger Games obviously had to stay true to a source material, and it has to be more glossy because to get people out in the cinemas, you need to have mass appeal.
You probably get away with more in the written word, I'd imagine, in the book as well. You can write something extremely sad and the person can read it and have a complete impact on them. But we can't put that in the film.
Yeah, because it's not going to be...
It's quite brutal.
It's not going to be PG-13, it's going to be a 15.
Yeah, it's like they bleed out from a neck wound crying. Yeah. Or something absolutely awful and really dark that we see in these kind of things. And you're like, we're just going to like maybe have that happen off camera, and they're going to, maybe
just imply it.
Imply it. That's exactly it.
But so we're at 30 minutes now, Nolly. I want to keep these episodes short. So we look at Squid Game. I want to ask you 2 questions to wrap it up. First of all, I'm going to ask you, what was your favourite of the games? And you answer that while I think of a second question to answer.
See, favourite is a word I'm not actually going to read into too much. I'm going to impactful is how I'm going to rephrase this. Again, I nearly rage quit on the marble game. Yeah, because of the fucking over the darkness, the kind of even good people, the sacrifice.
I'm eating animal crackers.
The 2 girls that played, and one basically like threw it so that the other girl could survive. The husband wife dying. Then there was Sang-woo, tricking his well-meaning friend, and then there was our main 456 tricking the old man and using his dementia against him. But with Sang-woo, I nearly rage quit. But to be honest with you,
Ali was the saddest one.
Yeah, Ali, thank you. But I actually just wanted. I was so invested. Like, it's got me. Yeah. Like, I can be angry, and I am, but you got me. Oh my God, you have me. You have me in the palm of your hand. I am melting. I am furious. I am like fucking emotional, and I'm just sitting in my house watching TV. Nothing's happening. I have to give it to that.
So I'm going to give it to you, right? That you said that's the most impactful, the marble game. And my second question, which I just thought up while you were answering that question, is because I'm a boss. What can I say? Oh, Super Chief. Someone called me Super Chief one time. It wasn't me.
I don't know.
Yeah. Hashtag Nolly did. But he gave me this pretty sweet hat. Whatever. I'm a Super Chief now. But no. So Noel, how far do you think you would have gotten into the Squid Game?
Oh wow! I think I would have. Okay, I'll answer that. Not taking the piss.
It's a really good question.
I think with red light, green light, because it's not as like with my knee, it's not as if I'm quick. So I think it would have been slow and steady wins the race, which is how a lot of people got through it. So I'm going to give myself that one because I wouldn't have fucked around. Yeah. When I seen that first person go down, I actually don't think I would have panicked and ran because it was so obvious that he's dead because he moved. Yeah. And we're playing red light, green light. I think my brain would have caught that. And then the second one, it becomes the game with the honeycomb. Yeah. And honestly, I don't know. Maybe there. Yeah. Because that's just like, maybe I got lucky and I got the circle. Yeah. So let's just say that hypothetically I got the circle and give myself the 50-50 and just then, based on that, get myself through that. But even then, we're already gone into hypothetical territory. Yeah. What was the third game?
Tug of war.
Tug of war. I'm a big guy. I might have been able to give that a shot. So I'm going to push out. I'm going to push, and now I'm being so generous to myself. Yeah. I'm going to push out that, and then we get to the marble game. And honestly, I think I would have just fell apart. Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't think I'm mentally strong enough at that point. And that would have been like me, and I've already given myself so many kindnesses to get to that point. Yeah. What about you?
Sorry. I think, like, out of all of them, as you said, most impactful instead of favourite, re-quote me with better words, whatever. But I think, the most impactful of all of them was probably the marble game. But the one that scared the shit out of me the most was the bridge game. Because, like, when I looked at every single one of them physically, I played... Yeah, I'm not good with heights. I'm not good at 50-50 situations. It's really weird. Like, I've got better odds if 10 things are put there and someone says guess the right thing.
You're better with a die. You better with a die than a coin.
I'm more like I'm like a wild man. I don't like to have to put it down to the possibilities of 50-50 where it's just like a pure game of chance. Like I prefer where it's just like a wild statistic and you're just like I just go with my gut instinct. Kind of like I did. Remember we were on Mr. Good Beer where I was like I worked out that with the thing. Remember he was like I want you to guess the answer answer without knowing the question. And which John
Yeah, I remember
Carpenter.
you were on fire that day,
and you know, so that
We
was
both
just,
did well, but you were on fire.
yeah, that was just a weird case of like I was able to figure out the probabilities. But that if he gave me two movies, I would have found it harder. So like I think like physically, because I played a lot of sports when I was younger, that I think I might have survived red light, green light. Because I think I can stop quickly from playing football. Maybe.
That was it.
But
the old man made it.
Yeah.
Old man made it by just playing the game. Move
Yeah.
when you can, stop, move, and just keep that up.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the timer.
Exactly.
Don't waste time, but don't worry about the time.
I just
and you can
know
get through it.
if I was playing red light, green light, I would not have been one of the first people off the line.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of way. I would have let the first couple of people go and see what the fuck happens. I think physically, I might have because not a lot of them are physically demanding. Honeycomb would have fucked me up because I am not good artistically whatsoever. So if I got the umbrella, I'm dead. 100%, I'm dead.
If I got the umbrella, I'm dead.
Yeah,
That's what I
I'm
mean.
dead.
I was already being
100%.
generous to myself.
Yeah.
But let's just say, I'm just going to say to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah.
I'm going to say you got the circle.
Yeah, I honestly think, if everything benefited me, the one that would have definitely killed me was the bridge. 100%. 100%. Like, cause I don't think I would have survived it unless I was last. And even at that, they barely survived. Because if you get to the last 2 or 3, it might be a case of, like, you can actually take that step on the weak one and move yourself onto the strong one and just throw yourself. You have that chance if you get to the last 3 tiles. But I think unless you get a high number in bridge, I'm fucked because I'm really bad with 50-50 situation.
There's so many hypotheticals to get you to that point.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to, so Honeycomb was probably the hardest one to get by initially, if you think about it really logically, because if you get Umbrella, the chance of getting Umbrella was like 25%, so you're fucked, you know, that kind of way if you get Umbrella, if you're not good artistically. But I think most impactful...
You didn't know what the shapes represented.
Yeah, exactly, like, that's the thing.
The shape was as innocuous as the next one.
Yeah, I mean, like, you had a 25% chance of choosing the Umbrella because there was 4 shapes, or so. But I just think most impactful, I kind of agree with you, as Marble. The one that scared me the most was the bridge. So I think, like, if I
actually agree with you, if you want to say scare, like, again, if I was to answer your question, what was my favourite, I would say that it was red light, green light for just the sheer entertainment, just the
carnage,
scope of it.
Yeah.
But the one that I took with me after watching the series, the one that I walked away thinking about was the Marble game. Like that was the one that played fucking games.
Emotionally crushing.
Like my moral centre. What do I do? Like, I mean, it's emotionally crushing, like you just said. So that would be. I'm just going to say that's my favourite because we're horror fanatics, so we like to be challenged in that kind of way. And
exactly.
That challenged me, so I had to give it to it. Even if I was about to rage quit, I have to say you had me in the past.
I'm the same. Like, I think that sinking feeling that you got as a viewer when you realise the rules of the Marble game and what the ramifications would be in terms of the character loss that was going to occur from that round was one of the most emotionally impactful things I've ever seen. Like Ali's game with Su Young, was it? Like I think his game with sorry, let me say his Sang-Woo, and so his game with Cho Sang-Woo was just absolutely heartbreaking because you knew Ali was going to be the one to die and he was one of my favourite characters. But I think
actual decency is why he died.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
he could have just he might as well have pulled the trigger himself. He had him dead to rights. The guy had 1 marble and he had to make Ali guess how many marbles he had. Ali had 9 of his marbles. There was no losing except for the fact that he, a decent human being, couldn't, because it would be like pulling the trigger yourself, and just seeing that used against him, oh man, that was horrific.
And before we get the fuck out of here, there's Squid Game season 2 on the horizon seemingly, and they're saying they're not going to do it from the participants' point of view, is the rumours. Maybe the organisers. What do you think of this? Did you have any high hopes? Would you prefer to keep the expectations zero?
So high, such a fan of Squid Game, and I don't have high hopes. I think they might be cashing in a bit. I think like A Quiet Place 2 was a really good film, but we seen it, so we couldn't be surprised by it. They were just
lost that uniqueness
to the world, and that uniqueness is gone then.
Like all sequels, that's the challenge of all sequels.
It's a challenge of all sequels, and not everything has to be a Terminator 2. But you know what, I have to have some. I'm going to watch it, and Squid Game is an absolutely excellent series, and it's earned the 2nd season. Why not? But I don't think it's going to be as good as the first, and I'll come on here and I will eat my own words. And
eat crow, as they say.
Oh, eat crow,
or eat squid
all day. Eat squid, complete lack of squid. Squid Game's False advertising is my biggest takeaway from the website.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think I'm going to keep zero expectations for season 2 because I know
That's all I
expectations
had
for the
going
first
into
one.
season 1.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, man.
The magic of low expectations, you know. But,
the magic of low expectations
yeah.
will see us through.
Yeah, so, no, that was Squid Game. Do you have anything else you want to say before we get the fuck out of here?
No, thanks for staying with us, guys.
Alright, cool. And thanks, motherfuckers. This was Invasion of Potty Snatchers. I'm your host, Vincent Green.
And I'm not Vincent Green. I'm the other one.
He's the other one. And we got Karen Mack in the back. That was Squid Game. See you next time, motherfuckers.
Peace out.